And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rafael Chacín, and here's my co-host, Zenith, and welcome everybody to another episode of the Combat Club. So right now, this is a podcast which mixed martial arts, wrestling, and boxing fans are reunited together in one show that we can talk about the previews, the reviews, everything about for the MMA war, wrestling, and boxing. And this past weekend, it became like very historical because WrestleMania 40 is in the books, in the history. And the next weekend, which is this one, is going to be another epic event, which is going to the history of books, which is the UFC 300 in Las Vegas, Nevada. So right now, let's give it a warm welcome to my co-host, Science Senate. So how you feel about it? Because the last week, it became so big to the wrestling fans. And the next week, which is this one, is going to be so much huge for the mixed martial arts for the UFC 300. So how you feel about it?
Great weekends back to back. We just ended a WrestleMania weekend. I was absolutely excited, which we're probably going to cover it first today. And then from there, we'll probably move into, UFC 300. Like Rafael said, two back-to-back amazing weekends. I want to thank Rafael to joining the Premium Takes panel that he did last week. Thank you so much. I know the fellas was really happy to have you on, and you guys broke WrestleMania down to the T. A super excited weekend, so I can't wait to talk more about WrestleMania. So, like I said, boys, what we're going to do is we're going to recap WrestleMania, and then we're going to get into a big event that is UFC 300.
Yeah, there you go right now. So right now, let's head to the topic right now. So let's just see what I got in. Right now, let's see for the comments right now. Tony Shepard's in the building. Salute to you, Tony Shepard. And right now, let's get it to popping to the first topic right now. So here it is, WrestleMania number 40. Now, a lot of guys would see because the night one and night two, it became so much historical. And I just wanted to say, shout out to Mitch, a recall also for Samal Raider, Mr. Fit 7104, and Joe Marley to become witness about for the part of the history at WrestleMania because the edition number 40, which is an edition XL, it became so much important that it had bigger surprises, bigger events, and of course, they have big upsets. So first and foremost, Sami Zayn, they just dethroned Gunther's dethroned for the Intercontinental Championship reign, and then we just got for Damien Priest who pulled out the trigger, just like Seth Rollins had to put the money on the contract, money in the bank, and then he became like the World Heavyweight Championship. And last but not least, we just see like the best of the best. It's not like the Avengers movie. It's not like the Star Wars movie. It's just like an epic cinema of epic proportions because they just got Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Championship. And boy, what can I say about it? That event, it just broke all those records. And then Cody Rhodes just broke his competitives as the throne Roman Reigns has become like the undisputed WWE Championship. I mean, those storylines, it became very awesome. But I got to tell you for this one, pro wrestling is back with two events that became so magical, so interested about it. And a lot of person didn't say about that. I didn't know about for the wrestling, but boy, those both nights, it became so very unique. So right now, let's give it up to Science Center for the night one and night two. And how Cody Rhodes became like the undeniable to become like the undisputed WWE champion.
Yeah, well said. Let's just touch on night one for a second. To start off the night, you had Rhea Ripley defending her women's championship against the man Becky Lynch. That was an exciting fight to start off night number one. Excited to watch, and then we immediately follow that with a 6-man tag team match. Super excited. With Austin Theory and Grayson Waller getting the SmackDown championships, and then the Awesome Truth. Or Truth been in the business for about 23 years now. Him and the Miz absolutely getting it done, and knocking out the Judgment Day with the New Day, the New Czech Republic, and I believe DIY was also in that match.
Yeah,
as well.
DIY, yes.
you had a nice match to follow that in the Rey Mysterio match. But what really took the evening was the main event and the Sami Zayn defeating Gunther to give Sami Zayn his championship to that he deserves. The guy been in the business for a long time, and to do it against a guy like with the ring general in Gunther. That was excited to see. Nobody has beaten this guy, and this is a guy not like Roman Reigns. This is the guy that basically defended his championship. Was respected of the wrestling. Nobody really got involved with his match. Yes, there was shenanigans with Imperial behind the scenes and stuff like that. But when it comes to straight up and up combat, mano y mano, Gunther was the best of that. Now let's see what the WWE chooses to do with him. Does he go now after the championship that night 2 started off on with Seth Rollins, you know what I'm saying, and getting beaten by obviously Drew McIntyre, but then obviously to have Damian Pierce run up to the ring. So again on Sunday in a second, but this just to touch on the main event that was the Bloodline with the final boss, The Rock, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Man, that was like one of the top. I believe it's in the top 3 or top 5 of most longest matches in WWE history, and at least for WrestleMania. And I just want to give a shout out to all of them. Great competitors, great show they put on. We even had the Usos, get down on that court as well. But main event Jay, versus Jimmy. I love that. I love that competition that they really had going for them. Just the new era of WWE, just the Triple H era is really captivating to the fans. And I know we have a lot to get on a night 2, but we also had Jade making her big time appearance, in the ring with Naomi and Bianca Belair versus Damage Control. And that being said, man, a fun night of fight. Saturday was really awesome. Main event captivated it. Wasn't expecting how big the main event was going to be at night 2, but we diverse, and we're going to get to that in a second. I'm going to swing the mic over to Rafael, let him say a couple more things before we get into night 2. Yes. That was Sunday. Go ahead, man.
Yes. Between for the Saturday, I mean, that was like a really fun wrestling. I mean, they have really good, solid match right now, but absolutely, because I really thought this is going to be like epic, but it just broke it out the expectations. But there's one thing about what is with no lights in the crowd, because I know they're in the Lincoln Financial Field, which is the home for the Philadelphia Eagles. They had a big stadium full of fans. As soon as the sun set, they had some putting a light into the crowd, but it's just like the previous Manias. It looks like absolutely dark during the matches, but they just made like the whole show look very regular house show. But so such a big event show, things are gonna matter to share like the premium feeling. But it definitely had a fun because I love it to see it between Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. It's just like a really solid match with a cool ending, with a turnbuckle right and another one. Also, the Rhea's entrance was so good, and I love how she invested it about for Motionless in White, because that's his favorite band. And now we got the Battle of the Brothers, which is Jey Uso versus Jim. I mean, a little bit on the way with the kind of short, but I tried to get a play off of the emotions, but I don't think that worked. So like 10 minutes match, probably the match that I could form the worst when they came for the expectations. And why Lil Wayne isn't even there, because it's gonna be like a spoiler alert for the next event for WrestleMania going out to New Orleans, maybe, because I thought it was going to actually rap. He just say like 5 words about it. But the main event was Rock along with Roman versus Cody and Seth. It's just an imagine about for Star Wars or like Avengers movie. It's just like a fun main event. It just figured it along. It didn't take like it would be like 40 minutes, but I was truly fine because it just started slow, but it was like the right call to build after the tension before kicking it off with another gear, finding the crowd, and then kicking it out for the rock bottom. And I'm really looking forward to see like the conclusion. I mean, the attention that your spirit to Rock could have later to something, but that was really good event. But I think the Yoso match is like a little bit flat, but it was like a shame because I know how much they talking about for the dream match, but I got to leave it. So they're gonna pray about it. The rest of the card, it was really good. But I understand they just want Jake Harkey on the card. But people that didn't see that really matched up. But I would prefer like an attack title defense, but it was just personal. She looks like a star, but still lacking a little bit on the ring. But also it's just like a well-filmed show. I mean, the semi-entrance was very particular, but it was really, really exciting. But call me crazy about it, but I think The Rock did very well. But I know that The Rock's performance at night one and night two, it became to broke all the barriers. It became something like very business right now, but it seems that they're just opening for the brand new era of wrestling because after the whole nightmare that it just drove it along because right now the fans they just feel about for the new era. And I know the Attitude Era, they just blowing it for the 2000 and then the PG era, which is 2010. But people they just wanted to see like young talent and some of the veteran talent to make it for the last dance, just like Michael Jordan did. But I think the new era of wrestling, it became so much important. So people didn't forget about taste it about because right now, if you're growing up with the wrestling back in the 90s, the 80s, and even to the 2000s, it became so much popular. And I love that the people in those generations, they want to see the pro wrestling back in the business.
And what a guy to lead the charge with Triple H. You know what I'm saying? He was a part of that whole era you just talked about, the Attitude Era, the fall off the to end his career on the Ruthless Aggression era, but to still to be around. You know what I'm saying? We talk about night one, the main event, and how could it be topped, right? And we didn't expect it to get. We obviously knew something was gonna happen in night two, but then when everything started going on, and we kind of knew, we kind of had predictions on who was gonna run out, who was gonna actually be involved. But when things started actually happening, it was super exciting. Getting into night two. So you talked about the entrances. What a show to come out to kick off. You know what I'm saying? We had a Drew McIntyre coming out to them playing the Scottish music live. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he even talked about we didn't even get into Rhea Ripley's entrance for her to come out with that live band. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful. And then Seth Rogen comes out with all these masquerade people, having fun. Like the entrances were just on
It's just
point.
like a group carnival. It's
Yeah,
just
like
like
a group
about
carnival.
going off of the.
Absolutely, and let's just touch on the first match right here. We'll just go match by match for Sunday. So we start with Seth Rollins, obviously banged up. He just had 44 minutes. He just had 45 minutes the night before, and then he has to open the show. He has to be the opener in night two. Against a guy who basically said, you guys previewed it on Premium Takes. I know he basically said like this is a stupid mistake for Seth Rollins for taking this fight. You know what I'm saying? For taking this fight
Definitely,
against Night and helping to defend Cody. You know what I'm saying? But he did, and it ends up costing him the title. He ends up costing him the title. Obviously, CM Punk was there on comms. We all kind of, suspected something would happen with CM Punk's on comms. Guess what? The way it happened, I didn't expect that, but it happened. CM Punk rips Drew McIntyre off the table. Who comes in? The guy that was just carrying him on the briefcase that nobody thought it was ever going to cash in. Damian Pierce of the Judgment Day, just coming off of the loss of the Judgment Day's tag team championships. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Comes in and now cashes in at the right moment. Does his special move against Drew McIntyre, and now is the current, champion of Monday Night War, heavyweight champion, whatever you want to call it. I want to hear your thoughts on that first match, that outcome of that match, everything I just said, and then break down the next match. We'll go match by match, but let's get it.
I mean, that was super great. I mean, that was just because that match in between, like, because it was literally on the island. But between for those matches, I mean, that was very popular in that fight right now because I know for the Sunday it became like because right now I just see for the night one and night two. I mean, remember if WrestleMania 2015 Roman Reigns was there versus Brock Lesnar, and then boom, Seth Rollins came out of the nowhere to cash in the Money in the Bank, and just like Damian Priest just say the same thing. And of course, it just broke all the boundaries, and it just became like the World Heavyweight Championship. And because all of that, because after CM Punk did it just go into interference for Drew McIntyre, it became so much, and it was like very, very enough of the good about it. But I think that was just like a really debut for the new era. But I think that the most part of this right now, I mean, besides for the moments, I mean, that was just like coming out for like the Shield was mainly to mess it up about. But it just like what it impressive about for this issue. It's just spear, but it didn't have it just extras, but that was very impressive, dangerous. And it just coming off of it last night. But it was truly like very fantastic because it just see like insane how basically he lost because he could have given a pass and attack for the set with the chair, which is like the main event. And I was like really, really feeling at it. I mean, there's like a long-term storytelling because Roman weakness has always been Seth Rollins. They always can show out that same guarantee to his head. It was just like rock, paper, scissors out of the Shield. Roman Ambrose said, Seth Roman. I mean, it became like a very circle. But it was like he didn't think about the Cody would prepare for a Bloodline Rules match. Nobody had expected about it. Nobody expected. But I think that Drew Kennedy would go for the front Punk, and that will cost him the belt. I mean, Roman could have let it go for the Seth retry, and that cost him this reign. But also Seth also lessened because he couldn't stand Roman holding in because I know that could just happen because those matches right now, it became so fantastical, and people thought that, they're going to be like very excited about it. But between for the main event, which is like very important right now, it just seemed like truly magical because everybody's seen that. Everybody thought that Stone Cold Steve Austin could make it at the entrance right now, but we just see like a surprise entrance, just like John Cena, and then boom, The Undertaker. It became like one of the biggest rivalries because if they're gonna pull like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, all the kind of people are about to remember about this all rivalry between for the WrestleMania X7, and then boom, it just came out for the right of the thing. But I think that those rivalries right now, it's just really fucking awesome. And I mean, that was like an awesome heel word for Reigns tonight. I mean, they're putting it on the table tonight. They're putting it out for the using Cody's finisher. It didn't work it at all. But how did they make it fun how bad it is? They just sent it for the Hollywood the rest of them. It was just like a really awesome effort for the tribal chief. But I've seen like a ton of people that they say go somewhere else, started from the bottom and work at the main event. It must be like a great thing to see everything is gonna be because it felt like a series finale because this entire weekend it's just like a giant snake shooting over through the skin. And that feel like the main event is just like person out for a then, now, forever. It's just like a big, huge celebration in the industry. I mean, that company and the talent leading for the next generation. I mean, I'm ready. I am ready for it. I'm ready for it because there's so much fuel left into this one. And don't be surprised at all because what happens in WrestleMania Backlash, we have it in thought is could be the next contender for Cody Rhodes and who be like the all rivalry between Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Because if you remember in the Extreme Rules back in 2016, when Seth Rollins just came back with injury and then boom, it just became like the payback. I would imagine that they put for the All's rivalry and they became like so much bigger because in those storylines that we see like Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, I mean, those storylines that became so very special because they just put a lot of it spicy so the people can know about for the storylines that revolve about that.
Yeah, most definitely, man. You covered a lot there, and I absolutely love it. You know, the storyline that it sets up with this new era. You know what I'm saying? Especially how it ended. You know, we have them going one mano a mano. You know, to the very end, hitting move after move. You know, we have Jay running out. You know, we have Jimmy running out first, stopping. We have Jay coming out, fighting it. We have uh Solo, you know, getting involved, Spike Spear at the same time, combination, still kicking out with Cody, kicking out from that, you know what I'm saying? And then you have John Cena running down. The last time we seen John Cena, he lost to Solo, them getting into a scuffle, you know what I'm saying? You have the Shield music playing. You're thinking, oh, is that going to be Dean Ambrose? Is Dean Ambrose going to come marching down? No, it's Seth Rollins, injured as hell, but still effective, you know, and it's trying to be at least in the Shield gear, gets hit by a chair fast enough to distract the Rock, and then, and then the bells ring, and then the Undertaker appears, you know, to kind of put balance back in this bitch. And exactly what happened. And I love this new era with Triple H. You know, it's kind of like there's a lot of storylines that can be, played out. You know what I'm saying? Because of this, the bloodline is obviously it's going to be around, but not going to be as strong. I think it should be that way for a little bit. Roman Reigns go take a break. You know what I'm saying? Let people in the business, you know, that basically the fans wanted to see champion. The fans basically did this audible. If you really think about it, they wanted The Rock and Roman to have this big event. Obviously, the fans wanted Cody. We wanted to see the end of the story, and now the story has ended, and now it's a new reign in the WWE. I'm love to see what's going to go on with the heavyweight championship strap. Is Gunther gonna go after it? What's gonna happen with Drew McIntyre? There's CM Punk there as well. You know what I'm saying? And then you know, main event, Jay. If there's ever gonna be another bloodline holder of the championship, you got main event Jay Uso. That's probably the fans are backing him right now. As far as he got the crowd moving. And we can't forget about the United States Championship and Logan Paul. You know what I'm saying? Amazing, fun match with him, KO, Kevin Owens, and then we had Randy Orton. We had Speed getting involved with the flying bottle, getting kicked and then getting Orcado on the table. That was absolutely fun. Enjoying watching that. And, shout out to Logan, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely putting on a show like ours and really inspiring the next generation to be WWE superstars in the way that he had a lot of trouble history. We all know, we all see what happened early on in his YouTube days, and what he came out of that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of doubters, a lot of people say, oh, he's not going to really become a wrestler. He's not really going to be boxing Mayweather. But look, he accomplished it, and this guy is working hard on his craft. And he's in the gym, and he really is now a WWE superstar that's going out there fighting against legends like Randy Orton and defending his strap. What's up, Nomads? Thank you so much for joining us this evening. So absolutely a win. That's a dub on the WWE. That's a dub on TKO as a brand. We have another great weekend coming up that we're going to preview here in just a second on UFC 300. But if you really, really think about it, man, that's a win on the UFC. Sorry, that's the win on the WWE, Triple H, and the next generation of, this era that we go into. It's reminding me more of when I kind of stopped watching wrestling because of the fact that I kind of got older and I kind of got recycled and things just got rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. There was no really new change, so I consider myself a casual watcher. But now that there's looking like there's some stories to be written, some stories to be changing, the writing, the direction of the shows is just getting more excited as we go on. The fans are actually getting they'll say as they always should have. You know what I'm saying? Together, but part of it. And if you really think about it, there's so much matches that we haven't talked about. We had the Pride, going against the Final Testament. We had LA Knight going against AJ Styles. We had Bailey defeating Io Sky. So much to talk about, so little time. But I'm gonna give the rest of my time over to Rafael. Let him say a couple more things about the WWE and WrestleMania, and then we can move on to UFC 300. I'll be right back. I'm using the bathroom, but hold it down, Rafael. Let's get it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hold it down, but I gotta tell you for this one, ladies and gentlemen, and for that reason that I just love like the night one and night two, it became so much epic right now because if you see like LA Knight putting up for the big name on WrestleMania, and don't be surprised that LA Knight could be like the next contender for the Money in the Bank. Because after the whole drama of Logan Paul, I mean, people getting really enough for the Logan Paul right now because I know they just have like a very difficult positions right now, but it seems like the brothers Paul, I mean the Paul brothers, have made it all because all of the new generation they just wanted to love it. Even though they had their enterprise, they had to know for the connection with Prime, which is like a premium drinking, and then boom, they're just getting like a bigger contract, bigger business. I mean, it just came like at the perfect moment. But at the same time, I think that WrestleMania 40 it became so incredible, and I mean that was between because pro wrestling is back at its roots right now, and I think that's gonna be like really excited for the Bother Boss. And right now, it feels like they just wanted to bring for the roots right now. They just wanted to bring out the new era. They just wanted to bring the attitude era that it became so magic that I cannot get sticking about it. And I will tell you for this one. If I know that wrestling is fake, how the hell were they gonna deceive all of these matches, all the storylines? It became so much important that nobody see that coming. I mean, thinking about it. Think about it. Because those matches are really impressive. Because right now it feels like because those generations that are growing up watching wrestling, it became so unique, and that's part of the DNA because we're about there watching for all those wrestling fans and those wrestling matches right now. But I feel that because I understand that wrestling is very fake, but those fights became part of the DNA, and those storylines it became so much important that no one's seeing that. And for that reason, I just really to enjoy it a little bit
Well, you got to
for
put it this way too. It's like wrestling's not fake. Wrestling is absolutely real. It's just wrestling is just scripted. So that whole argument of wrestling fake, I just ignore those people because at the end of the day, I'm a casual wrestling fan. Um, it's the same thing of playing a video game or watching a TV series or watching a movie. It's scripted, it's written by somebody. A video game is planned in a conference room, storyboarded out and given to game engineers and made with a team of a small project from 10 to a big project with a team of thousands. If you look at the same way that a song is made, is a person writing down a concept of idea. If you think about anything, or it's just a branch of the entertainment tree. Wrestling is very real. These people put their bodies on the line year round. You know what I'm saying? And they're superstars for a reason. I would like to say that people who knock people who watch wrestling, you can say the same thing of whatever they're into. And I'm not a fan of knocking people back to sucking you. Whether you're a fan of, watching Game of Thrones or you're a fan of the WWE, it's the same thing. Game of Thrones is a written show. That was a book that was written by an idea and the concept of the mind. I'm not going to go too elaborate. I really explained myself of 3 different times in 3 different ways. That being said, the emotion that the last match had almost had me tearing up. You seen Samantha Irvin getting on the mic, couldn't even announce Cody's winning because at the same time we felt all that emotion. At the same time, seeing all the superstars coming into the ring, seeing his hug with Michael Cole, like seeing the emotion that you kind of get at the end of a TV series after you spend 8 long seasons developing with characters and then it ends. You guys get the point. A good TV series, a good movie, a great album. With that being said, it's for our entertainment, and these guys are totally putting their life on the line for our entertainment. So well said on that. And I would just ignore those people, Rafael. Just ignore those people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, and right now let's just move on to the next topic right now because it is time, just like the voice of Bruce Bedford. It's time because right now this weekend is
You don't want to
gonna be
get sued?
so much epic. Yep, because right now they got the UFC 300 main card right now because they have so important fights that we can never mix up. Because right now they got Charles Oliveira, they got Alice Pereira, they got Matt Holloway, Justin Gage. They had so huge important fights that we can never sleep on it. And I think this is like the greatest idea that we got to talk about it because this special episode, not only we can talk about for WrestleMania, but also for the UFC 300 because right now they have so important fights because right now they got Justin Gage versus Matt Holloway for the BMF title. Also, they got Willie Sham versus John Shionen, Alice Pereira versus Shamal Hill. Also, they got Chelsea Rivera versus Armand Truxian and Bo Nickel versus Cody Brunage. I mean, what can I tell you?
Let's just say that this card is fully loaded, and there's only really one proper way to go down this list of the amazing card that this is. I think we honestly, with so much ex champions on this card, with so much future champions on this card, with so much current champions on this card, with so much contenders on this card, with so much hidden talent that we haven't seen them for a while on this card, with so much upsets in the making on this card, but so much on this card that is UFC 300. I think it's only fair that we go fight by fight. So let's just start with this one right here. I'm gonna let you begin. We got Davison Figueroa. The last time we seen him out was against Brandon Moreno times like 3, and he's finally facing someone that's not named Brandon Moreno. That's fun seeing, and he's facing Cody. Cody been calling out this guy for a while. It's been 4 years in the making, and this fight is finally upon himself. Cody a 9-5 record in the UFC. Davison Figueroa 11-3. I'm turning the mic over to Rafael. He's going to break it down for you guys. Who you got winning this fight? Davison Figueroa versus Cody. And then we'll move on to the next one. Let's get it.
I think it's going to be like a really shocking at all because it seemed like it'll because right now we're just seeing like the past and the present. But I think for the premium eliminators right now, I mean, they'll keep it like they absolutely right now. It just seemed like it's very sick, but it feels like because Cody was just being like one of the great fighters, but he doesn't have like some random KO power. And Gore is Premier League like a striker, because I know they got to face the pain, but it feels like because it seemed like they're physically that just go for the being weighted. Because I know that it's gonna be like some random KO power, but he's seen Gore Broly and Gore is Premier League out the striker. But I hope there's gonna do some random to the bubble. It's very unlikely. But I think it's gonna be like a super confident horror. It's such a great anger. But I wasn't again like very afraid because they have very interesting about for that is gonna be the straight layer to slaughter. I mean, it just became like it is so big and important. It doesn't have a really feeling because it seems like they're really looking at the same up and up. It was really looking up for the debate right now. I mean, it feels like they just wanted to people just with knowledge. But I just figured it out that it put in like a one. Let's see if Cody can control the emotions. If he plants his feet and start winning hooks, I mean, it's over. But they're probably gonna be enough for it all the time. But I can feel like King shake it about the feeling because the spring goblins it'll be like being around for like a Daffy Dog right? But I think that it's gonna be like the super stack. But it feels like because don't be surprised at it all. But it seems like they have great grappling, great striking. But I think that if it comes to anything going to happen on this one, so I will give it like a knockout. But literally, this is one that the one deserves it at the spot right now. But it just feels because my only concern about Figueredo, I mean, they just have like sort of accuracy because right now this is like about the strong for the starter, the guy that it can get. I mean, there's 2 edge champions in the respective division battling out. I mean, that was absolutely insane. Figueredo was coming out for the fairly strong that win it against the Raven Rob front. I mean, it was random enough for because at the first fight, the most number of things that are being noticed about that he looks very depleted on the fight day. It seems like there's no longer to need like they call 10 pounds and give it like a more energy. I mean, the good news, he doesn't like a very massive power. If he stands up with the crowd, the bears of the armor fight. I mean, between striking is like the tail for 2 advantage. The Bison has the power. And Garvin has to speed in a particular case that I think Davison will take an advantage. In wrestling grappling, that's a little bit tougher to begin. So talking about for grabbing it just have a great background in wrestling as the takedowns. But in cardio, board that generally bursts and contrary the pace with a disparity to cardio and energy. But the given fact that Davison is gonna be very often, it doesn't land, it's always like a waste cardio, but Garvin is a very good bosser. It will base everything well.
I think you hit it right down the nail. I think it's gonna come down to the choreo. I don't know if Cody's gonna be much more faster than Davison, but if he is, I don't want to see Davison reach. I think Davison has the skills to get Cody out of here, but at the end of the day, Cody still has the skills to get that one punch knockout power. You know what I'm saying? I think this is the first good card to start off the card in general. You know what I'm saying? To start off the early prelims, first fight of the night. You got 2 bantamweights looking to go at it. That is a little bit of rivalry in this. Absolutely. Cody been calling this guy's name for a long time. Do I think Cody gets it done? Yes, I do. But I am scared that Davison Figueroa is going to show up the best he's look and put work on Cody. And if Cody's not ready, if he's not overlooking Davison, that's you don't want to be doing that, because Davison is going to box you up and he's going to win by decision. I don't see Davison, although he is known for his power at times too. I don't see him clipping Cody. I think Cody's going to be faster than him, but then again, it is hard to tell him. But that's why this fight is so fun. It could go both ways. I think it does go to a decision. I don't see this fight ending in a knockout. If it does, I'm gonna have Cody knocking out Davison Figueroa. Can Davison Figueroa knock out Cody? Absolutely. But just Cody been looking like the old as of late. Not really like prime Cody, but hopefully his eyes are set on Davison and not looking past him. For the next fight, we have veterans of the sport. We have Jim Miller. This guy been on UFC 100, UFC 200, and now he's fighting on UFC 300. This guy been fighting in the UFC since there was only double digits. I believe he made an appearance in the 60s or the 70s. I could be wrong on that. It might be the 80s. But regardless of the point, this guy has been fighting in the UFC for a damn near long time. And just let me fact check me real fast. Let's just go all the way back to when he actually made his UFC debut, and that would be UFC 89 against Bisping and Lieben. And what a fight that was. You know what I'm saying? That being said, though, he is going against another killer in the sport, another veteran of the sport, a veteran that, is going to go out there, and it has been confirmed in the press conference that the UFC is going to be give out $300,000 bonuses. Yeah, Bobby Green, a straight killer that is going to go and want to put out Jim Miller. One thing I do like about Jim Miller is he is 5-1. 5-1 in his last 6. All 5 fights winning by stoppage, whether it be referee stoppage, TKO stoppage, KO stoppage, or submission. It ended the fight. I think this guy is damn near 40 or damn near 42, or how old he is. He's 40, and this guy is absolutely still trying to make another run in it. And that being said, though, he is going against a tough guy in Bobby Green, but I see Bobby Green not backing up. I see Bobby Green putting himself in bad situations, and I have Jim Miller getting the victory. I have Jim Miller either by knockout or either by a takedown submission. I'm not doubting Bobby Green's skills. I see this is a good pick'em fight. I just believe in Jim Miller, and I believe that Bobby Green's gonna try to put himself in a situation to get an early knockout, and that's just gonna cost him. I see Jim Miller's counter-striking getting it done here. Back to you, Rafael.
All right, so I just wanted to tell for the Bobby Green. I mean, this is like a great final fight for Miller, but unfortunately, it's gonna be like at a glance because Green is coming off for a thug loss against Turner, and it was just like a bit rough to be how easily Turner can handle it. I mean, Green was typically like a well-run fighter with incredible boxing skill headset. I mean, his Philly shell was very infamous at that point, but it's very hard to punch clearly because Miller has a lot of power for a lightweight, and I don't think he has the power to make it difficult for Green on the feet, because I think Green is going to be very too comfortable on the feet, especially at the boxing range. I mean, for striking, Green has very strong boxing foundations that can be a lot give it up Miller further forward the shoes and the feet. I mean, power is probably equal in there. Besides, for wrestling, grappling, clearly just like the way that we think that Miller get winner there, and at least I think it's gonna be like a main pathway to the victory comes for the wrestling grappling. Green's counter was very good, but there's a lot of difference comes to the distance. And from cardio, Green has always exceptional cardio. It assumes that the fight remains like the control. It avoids for the heavy clinch and grappling styles. I mean, it's able to maintain the train run cardio, but I think Green is however better cardio. It really depends how Miller approaches the fight. I mean, I will say that because I will say that Josh Miller could have won for the anonymous decision. But for the straw way, which is Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez, this is going to be like a deciding fight. This is like the underdog match. Because she was coming out for the extremely strong wins against Mackenzie Dern. Well, Andrade didn't get touched up early. It was just like the power punches at the second that Andrade got the win. And Dern was working the defense, and Andrade became like one of the hardest hitting fighters on that division because she likes to bully against for the offense with its sheer strength, speed of the combinations. An underrated aspect of Andrade's skills is grappling. I mean, striking has the power of tennis for the traditional boxing range, but the clinch of the power to the Muay Thai striking of Rodriguez will shine bright. So it'll be very interesting how Andrade circles like right away getting out knee on the face, which is there's like a huge monster of danger both sides here because they have a unique ranches. And for cardio, I think it's very honest. Both they can fight at high pace for the 3 round very well. But I think it's gonna be like the sling to Andrade since they're a they can come in here for the combinations and power punches. If I'm wrestling and grappling, Andrade has proven a few times that the UFC stint can be she like a wrestling bully, but she might not be the cleanest straight downs. But the strength and impulsiveness are gonna be the major attributes. It'll be like a high wrestling pet if you choose to utilize it. And yeah, this is gonna be like a really interesting right now. But there's like another one, which is Jalen Turner versus Renato Moicano. I mean, it's mostly like one of the most talented finishers in that division. Outside of the big three, there's Poirier, there's Gage, and there's Oliveira. And I don't think that he's gonna be like a strong too much against Moicano, especially in the striking realm. But Turner is coming off of this knockout win against Bobby Green. It was just like very short, but it's very much the turn out of the fight incredible boxing. Well, time to be shot at being like very patient is gonna be like really huge should have been for Moicano. I mean, Moicano is gonna be like a very hard one to read on. It is not very critical. But for striking, I think that it became like so much important when it comes to the loss of him for the clinch and fighting out for the needs right now. I mean, despite for the anything could happen like this one, I mean, for wrestling grappling, it's gonna be like a battle. Who prefer like a lot sooner, but if it comes to wrestling. Whether that means that Moicano against like the underlog can turn again dig out for the underhook and kind of about that because the biggest chance to take out is from the clinch, and that's what it'll see for the over and under the log right now. And from cardio, again, give me like the fact that Moicano typically likes to work very hard to take knockdowns or take takedowns. I mean, this main path for the victory, I do wonder how cardio much energy he would attempt to get in the fight to go to the ground. I don't think that Turner goes like at a great gains for like 155. We see like a couple of times it just slow down, but I think they're gonna be like between Turner is gonna be a round number 3 be a knockout.
Yeah, dude, I absolutely love it. You know, that breakdown against Marina versus Jessica. You have Jessica, just basically, defending her spot here. And then you have the up and coming Marina that's just looking to take her spot and looking to fight for the championship. Yes, Marina had a tough road getting to where she is right now. But if she just came off of a loss, but then she came off of a win. So she's 1-1. And then if she gets the win against a big top game opponent, number 6 in the world, then Jessica and Joss, this is not the male division. There's less females in the company, so you stack a 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 fights against really game opponents, you get a title shot, and that's exactly what Marina's looking to do is stack Jessica and draws to her resume. It's going to be a tough out, but I think Marina gets it done here. I love your breakdown on that. When it gets into Jillian Taylor versus um, when Renato, honestly, this is a pick 'em too. Julian Taylor Dave definitely has the power. We've seen this guy do some amazing kicks, some amazing knockouts in the UFC in his time being here. My question in this fight is exactly what you said. You know, who when it comes to the ground game is he able to, he's he able to take Julian Turner down, and if he does take Julian Turner down, is Julian Turner able to use his wrestling to get back up to his feet? I think Julian wants this fight to be on the feet. I think McConnell wants this fight to be on the ground. That being said, this is going to be a pick on pick. This is a number 9 versus number 10 in the world. That's going to be absolutely fun to watch. And that is going to be the main event for the early prelims. Moving into the prelims, guys, we have so much great fights to get to. I'm going to just run through all of them real fast. And then actually we'll go 2 for 2. And then I'll let Rafael talk. And then Rafael will go 2. And then I'll go. That being said, we got we got Yusuf versus Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez's rise in the UFC has been absolutely awesome to watch. This guy wasn't even fighting for the company. If you rewind the time about a year ago, this guy definitely came in. He was on the Contender Series a while back. Didn't really go his way, but he was able to fight his way back into the UFC. Got called on short notice, accepted the fight, and now here we are. With a couple of fights under his belt, with a couple of wins under his belt, should I say, fighting against a total game opponent that we haven't really been talking about via injury, I believe. Rafael, correct me, but Yusuf, he's been around for a long time, but I know due to injuries or maybe the lack of maybe different opponents at the time. This guy, I feel like could be fighting Mervin, which he doesn't. I believe, he's a really talented fighter, and this is a big one for Diego. I think this is one of Diego's toughest fights he had, and for Yusuf, I think he is going to be the veteran in here, trying to stop the up and comer from taking his spot. And at the end of the day, he's still a young opponent himself. So this is going to be a really fun fight to watch. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have a winner of this one just yet. I don't know. I would love to see what Rafael has to say about this, but for me myself, I don't really have a winner just yet. But this is going to be another exciting fight to watch. With Taylor and Holly Holmes, we just you know what? Yeah, let's just go fight by fight. Rafael, you go right ahead. Diego versus Yusuf.
Between Saudi Yusuf versus Diego Lopez. I mean, it's going to be like a great fight. And a massive step competition for Lopez. I mean, Yusuf becoming like a war against Barbosa, but that fight round, it looked very good. Extremely late fight for the first or 3 rounds. That was like more such a bit how he fought for the fight. He wants to much put Barbosa was quickly enough there. But now Barbosa just survived and tried for the fight. Because Yusuf is pretty much a heavy boxer. He wants to throw punches, especially to the head, more specifically to his opponent's head and his own. He's got a lot of power to speed it to be successful in matches. Lopez became certainly at the start of the moment, and despite for the start loss to Ebol, he has to turn off of that round to 2 first-round finishes, which is really against competition with Sabatini and Tucker. I mean, he's currently full on. That dude doesn't care about for much how it happens to the fight. It's long for the dealing damage, and I believe it can start very fast in the struggle against Yusuf. The momentum will always in the favor for Lopez. I mean, for striking, Yusuf has to clean his striking. He has to send it up for the face and marching Lopez down. I suspect that we aligned it for the spiral punches that were set for the lungs. I mean, they should not underestimate for the punching power of Lopez because he showed up to be able to hang in there and through heart attacks. He fought in, but it was pretty great. But it was super show notice. And for wrestling grappling, this is all Lopez. And I've been believed that his ability to the bold traditional stages to take down the strategic positional advantage towards to a submission of bread and butter. I think how much of the chance of takedown for the defense is going to improve the preparation, all of that. I mean, this could be like a very round, but I would take Diego Lopez be a submission at the round number 2. But also, there's another one that it could be really excited. Holly Holm versus Khaled Harrison. I mean, this is a fight with a whole lot of discussion surrounded about it. Holm is clearly nearly the end of the career. I mean, she's not in the mid-30s anymore. And while it's still looking excellent, I don't know if it's going to be excellent. It could be the end. But also, it's not too big great to the start to see, but it was very great to see that the style has been refined. She may not finish it up on the opponents, but it seems like the mixing it off for the target and using all the tools to be more technical striker. I mean, for striking, it's really clear that the striking advantage goes to the home. She's all great for all ranges, shooting into the long for the leg kicks. I mean, with the Holmes to see more confidence, she never used to be a clinch fighter. For wrestling grappling, I mean, Harrison, if she makes the weight, what are the outstanding grapplers? I mean, to see the women's division a long time, there's no doubt that the lockdowns for don't be the Harrison. I mean, can Holm defend all the takedowns? I don't really think so because the thing that Harrison claims to style is very enough to get fighter on the ground. To be prepared, someone like Harrison, you need to train something like Harrison. And Harrison's a great fighter. And I would take the Harrison via ultimate decision in the first round. Also, they just had another one which is I really like it. Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. Now, Sterling is ranked at featherweight, but I don't think it's true. But Qatar is on the loss streak at the moment with his last loss being like a result for that horrible injury. But I think that Qatar would end the battle against the cage. I mean, for the pressure of Sterling would take it like a very uncomfortable. It's coming back for a long time. I went for the college right now. I mean, for striking, both fighters had to like the advantage right now. Qatar has very strong boxing, which he utilized for the jab and cross combination instantly. But it's supposed to the body gets Australian. But I suspect that he's gonna be like the team working enough for the body counter and will have like an advantage because of the style for the boxing. They can be sneaky at the average. At wrestling, grappling, I mean, he tries all of the grappling environment. His cardio being lost for the game, like the wrestling at a high pace for the trade for the 5 rounds. And since like the 3 rounder, he can spend more energy that has more to do. And I mean, in cardio, Sterling has the better cardio. If Qatar has to be healthy, the most of the training for the background is having Mirage a training partner. This is something like that trainer would be saying. So I would do like a Sterling be on decision right now. It's gonna be on the final decision.
Well, the way I look at it is what you kind of said. I look at both of these fights being kind of one sided. You have Holly Holm not really in her prime, going against a Invicta champion coming in with a 2-time gold medalist in the Olympics as well, in Kayla Harrison. She has 2 medals in the Olympics in her judo. And if you really think of it as well, she is an ex-champion making her debut in the UFC at 16-1. This is a coming out party. I don't see Holly Holmes catching her. I don't see Holly Holmes stopping the takedowns. As much as I want to root for Holly Holmes, she did come through for me in the past against ex-champions and the champion in Ronda Rousey when I was to put money on Holly Holmes. In this one, I can't see myself laying money on Holly Holmes. I am going to have Kayla. I might take Holly Holmes in a DraftKings lineup just because. But that being said, you never know in DFS. But that being said, with Kayla, this is I believe is going to be a one-sided fight. Obviously, with Kayla coming out with the victory. And if you look at Calvin Cater, the last time we seen him was over a year ago. I mean, like this guy, basically, he had a big rise all of a sudden, and then he met the top of the division, and he kind of got held back based on his ground game, his BJJ, and his wrestling. Calvin Cater has always been known for the great boxing that he has. I believe the Boston Mafia or whatever team, the New England Cartel or whatever team he trains from, always been known for his great boxing. But when you think of Aljamain Sterling, he's not going to stand and bang with you. And I don't see Cater being as fast as Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's IQ is I wouldn't say light years above Cater's, but I just say Sean O'Malley's IQ is better than Calvin Cater's. Sean O'Malley stand up is better than Calvin Cater, and Sean O'Malley's sets traps better than Calvin Cater. So I don't see Calvin Cater setting a trap to beat Aljamain Sterling in, especially when Aljamain Sterling just got clipped with the trap. Sean O'Malley baited Aljamain Sterling and he got clipped. I see Aljamain Sterling absolutely utilizing his wrestling, training at Matt Sauer, training at Moab, all of those guys in his corner, you know what I'm saying? That is basically gonna be a takedown show and a ground and pound show from Aljamain Sterling. Calvin Cater is not going to be able to stuff those takedowns. Calvin Cater is going to go for a ride. I honestly, hopefully Calvin Cater improved over the last year. We didn't see him. Hopefully he comes out and surprises. If he stops the takedowns from Aljamain early, maybe he gets Aljamain with some elbows up against the cage and stuff like that, and maybe he can back Aljamain off. But other than that, Aljamain, like my co-host said, Aljamain only has 3 rounds, so his stamina was going to be there, and he's going to be shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. So maybe some flying knees or whatever Calvin needs to do, but I don't see anything of that happens. As Aljamain Sterling, a completely one-sided win with this fight. Dog handling Calvin Cater. Moving on with Jury versus Alex, I'm gonna give my fellow co-host the mic. Go right ahead, Rafael.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a between for this war for Jiri Prochazka. I mean, that was really huge at all because this is like one of the last ever to go for it. I mean, Jiri, I don't want to hate it about this fight, but Prochazka is gonna be like for the top KO a loss against Pereira. It was just like a bad stylish matchup, but I think it's gonna be getting raw for the positions. But I think Prochazka's style could be advantageous to the fight because not only Rakic is coming out for injury, but as coming out for really inactive, it'll be more grounded to a fight that could fall for the into the favor. I mean, Rocky, on the other hand, is coming out for the best in the injury, really strong performance against Blakovic. I mean, the only major thing that I want to feel is that Rocky enjoys his plan is back because this is going to be huge because considering that Poshaka loves to pressure forward. All the back almost in the world to win to the back leg. And I don't quite very enough that that knee will be like 100% ever again. I mean, knee injuries can change the momentum of fighters' careers for that much. I mean, Rocky is overall phenomenal boxer and is very good at takedowns. He's very quick. He has to ride against the Blakovic for very good reasons. I mean, he has the right foundations to make a tricky fight for Pusaka. I mean, he was like a legitimate prospect coming out for that fight for striking. It's like pretty much a clash of styles because Reddy has the cleaner, more orthodox boxing, but with the tournament with his legs, so a major weakness to leg kicks. And for Jerry, has a ridiculous difficult to fight or to get a read on. I mean, he almost always has with the opponents with crazy movement, awkward angles. So he's very like at this very style, very uncomfortable, nice, and perhaps it's gonna be like a sliding bench during the opportunity. And Rocket is very more dangerous fighter, especially for the first round. For wrestling and grappling, I mean, both fighters have shown glimpses of their wrestling around game. I mean, they obviously were one, but I think the jury has to show like more adeptly on the ground. They show that he can more like dangerous grappling to deal with it. And whatever Tim said for the early for the wrestling, most likely to be like that bird had to fought. I don't think it's gonna be a lot of wrestling unless Record could like it a kick off or the Trump. And for cardio, I gotta tell about this. Jerry has ridiculous cardio. He can fight like outlandish pace for a 5 round. And it's still like he wants to kick ass. It's very insane. I mean, Rackety, on the other hand, is somewhat the first round fighter. He likes to throw all to his power and explosiveness of the first round. Then to taper up the pace of the 2 and 3. I mean, Jerry can clearly has the better cardio, in my opinion. So I would say this. Jerry Prochazka is going to win via knockout at the round number 2. And don't be surprised at all because that's going to be like a shocking moment right now. And yes, so right now let's just moving out for like the main card predictions right now. So I think this is gonna be like a so great right now. So let's just get up for the main card predictions right now. So we just got Bo Nickel versus Cody. I mean, this could be like great because one thing that happened is gonna for the prediction right now. It's just they had more confidence between us because I know they see like it is stuff they see the members. I mean, Bo Nickel has deserved to be like favorite. Don't get me wrong about it. But at know these numbers, this is gonna be like in a fight with minimal profanity, in my opinion, but it's not especially to talk about for odds. I mean, Nickel is an elite level wrestler, the best of the best that they're gonna have for the NCAA at the circle, and his rise against for Brunage has been nothing short of beautiful. However, this level of competition is rather sluggish, which is having the fair and understandable. As in a new fighter has a million of eyes at all the times, and then it wants to be later because he obviously has a high level wrestler. He has bulldozed over with the competition. And Brunage isn't exactly like the best fighter. Should be like underestimated here, especially on the feet, because especially like Brunage, all they do the stuff with the takedowns to push forward and make Nicola say, "Oh shit!" Let's not forget that Brunage is a wrestler as well. But I don't understand now the follow for high school wrestling, but it seems like he accomplished right now himself. But I believe the problem for the match was coming to every comes to the wrestling about Bo Nickel has the problem about the size and strength. I mean, for striking, both are somewhat not very great in this area, but they're very struggling to strike on the instage. The longer the fighter has go for the win, and it goes for a night cold as a stronger advantage for the more clean and off of the game what there's a fight about it. For wrestling grappling, Nickel has shoot the advantage for the give like the column wedge. For gold medals and such like Brunage could take it like the corner runs. And for cardio, it's very thought to tell that Nickel has never went to all the 3 rounds before because where Brunage had kind of also. Also, the Bruins really take the takedowns for them know that it's gonna be Gasper to really wanted to get the takedown. It's gonna be like a really tough call. But I would say Bull Naked is gonna win via submission at round number 1. It's gonna be like a tough call, but it's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, I love that pick. Going on Yuri versus Alec. I have Yuri taking it. Yuri, I was one that was in contest that was a stoppage, early stoppage by the referee. After that fight, you kind of see like referees kind of let them get my extra ground and pound in on the ground. Pause. That being said, though, I know it's about fighting safety, but at the end of the day, when you have a championship on the line, you kind of need it to play out where you kind of know for sure that the champion leaving is the true champion. And I just felt like not that Alex Pereira is not the true champion. Obviously, he has that win against Yuri. I think it was an early stoppage, and I think Yuri's goal is to get back and to become the best in the world, which I obviously thought he was. And even though I was picking Yuri against Alex, he's going to show again why he's one of the best in the division and why he should be considered up there with Alex and Jamal Hill. That being said, going into Bo Nickel, I think Rafael covered that perfectly. You got a guy that is clearly could have gone and competed for the Olympics, and I know he's an outstanding college and high school wrestler, right up there with the Jordan Burroughs of the world. This guy, Bo Nickel, has been talked about for years and years and years before the UFC even thought about grabbing him, or even him thought about coming to the UFC. And he's going against Cody. That is going to be a tough out. A lot of people is just ruling Cody out. But at the end of the day, this guy is going to go in there. He's going to try his best to stop Bo Nickel, but I don't think his best is good enough. I think the UFC is promoting Bo Nickel White. A lot of people say, it looks like Cody's getting fed to Bo Nickel, but understand that, Cody is on a 2-fight win streak. I know one of those fights is on disqualification, but he has been streaking lately, and this is a perfect time for him to up his competition as well. So I know Cody is gonna go in there and try to win, and that's what Bo Nickel needs. He doesn't need his opponents to get scared because they're going against an all collegiate wrestler. But that being said, it is going to be, I believe, an easy dub to Bo Nickel. After all I just said, I'm not overlooking Cody. I just think the game is just way better. And I think Cody is going to be in there for quite a bit of a shocker. You know what I'm saying? And I have Bo Nickel winning earlier as well. I don't know if it's going to be in the first, but I know it's going to be before the second. And we got Orsman versus Charles Oliveira, and man, this is gonna be a banger. Charles Oliveira is basically one of the best in the world in the division, and not even in the division, just in the world in general in the UFC. Charles Oliveira has been in the ring, not even the ring, in the octagon with the best of the best of the best of the best. And you have a young guy named Orman making a name for himself. You know what I'm saying? I believe he has like 8 wins in the first round and something like that. Like, this guy has absolutely been tearing it up. Making a name for himself as well, putting his country on the map as well. We've seen it in recent years, and the UFC is about eras, right? And now we're reaching the era of the 300s, and these courts are gonna, 301, 302. You get the point. You're starting to see some up and comers and become contenders, and this is exactly what Orman is. He was an up and comer for a while, and now this guy is a contender, and now he gets this toughest competition yet. He gets all of Charles Oliveira. Does he make it past Charles Oliveira? He absolutely has the tools to make it past Charles Oliveira. But if Charles Oliveira shows up in his prime and what we think he's going to show up, it's going to be a tough night for both of them. I'm gonna hand it over to Rafael because this one is probably not the toughest fight to pick for me, but this is the one where I have the most difficulty because I believe in both contenders, and I think both contenders deserve a shot at the title. I'm a fan of Orman, but I'm also a fan of Charles Oliveira, so I'm kind of mixed here. I'm kind of mixed emotions on the next couple of fights. Actually, I'm kind of mixed emotions on both of them. So I'm gonna let Rafael touch on Charles Oliveira and Orman, and then we're gonna get into Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway for the BMF Championship.
I mean, that was very impressive because finally we get this for the phenomenal fight. I mean, Charles Oliveira is one of those fighters who suffered like very early in that career to trade later on because he was just like a student for a long time, hitting off at the championship level of competition. And we just see him fighting. He's absolutely incredible. his striking has been like one of the biggest improvement about his career. He learned that the fundamentals very well, very tight shell, but never only his punches, and everything was tight and proper. And his punches is just like drill it consecutive combinations, pads and pause right now. But in the other part, Trojutian, I mean, he's coming off for a knockout win against Dariush. And it was really like a tying of knee because the striking aspect is more interesting about for the part in the fight because Tarjik has a very educated guard. He constantly fights with his rear hand quite high, and that's going to come from the main power side punch for Rivera. I mean, the same hook that it caught Chandler, so I can think definitely like Tarjik is very wanted and very versatile enough to avoid the more cleaning shots of Rivera. With this like the ball exchange, I think it's gonna be like a board fighters with a lot of power to the side hand. For striking, I think the Tortoise is very comfortable using these hands than our current display. I mean, the styles will like it very different, and Tortoise is gonna use like the punches somewhat differently as the opponent enters this range where the chest. Oliveira is very like a more aggressive, lynch like the forward to like straight or a long hook, where he could possibly leave for a more current Tortoise hand. I mean, Oliveira has a lot of power in his hands. But the disadvantage of Tortoise, he could make it like that, Oliveira could like more than risk more to get like shots in there, risking it in into like the danger era. For wrestling grappling, I mean, it's like the ultimate wrestler versus grappler, but on the ground. I mean, Jorgensen is very clearly that all around wrestler with incredible pressure and ultimate decision for a ground and pound. But at the better ground, it's insanely active off kick and back. A lot of guard ends for the arm bars and triangles. A big identity that Oliveira is on the ground. I think this is gonna be like a really tough one, but if it comes to wrestling and grappling. And for cardio, I think Oliveira has a very good cardio, but it's very hard to see. He hasn't gone for 5 rounds yet. Whatever the choice of the target had a great cardio was 3 rounds against Gamarot. I mean, he wrestled against for 3 rounds, and I think that someone's under the favorite because the target center can be more explosive, potentially overwhelmed with Oliveira on the ground. And of course, for the lightweight BMF title between Justin Gage versus Max Holloway. Oh, this is gonna be like the favorite one so far. Because it's gonna be like a right in between the how back and forward and the gonna be one. I mean, Justin Gage is one of the most impressive lightweights in that moment. He's like the boogeyman of that division, whatever pretty much the face of the whole career has very how dangerous it is because Gage is primarily like a kid's boxer. He has the most like the heaviest leg kick in the sport, and he has the hands of steel that he can put on display to kind of like the boxer. And for the Holloway, he's making like the second trip to lightweight after very successful, but also a successful way back to the default warrior. I expect Holloway to be able to look at him this sort of fight with his body, and I expect him to have the more power of his punches. But I think it primes itself in volume. He could be like the best boxer in the UFC. And a win against the scrappiest fighter who went through the cage, that will be very massive for the Hawaiian. I mean, the boxing is very most volume based. He doesn't necessarily use the power with his strikes. I mean, for striking, both strikes are very, very good for the striking. Grappling and wrestling, just in case it's the best wrestling fight. He doesn't very usually very often, but he does the very clearly knows what he's doing. And for cardio, both they're very excited for the cardio expenditure of the fight. It seems like Holloway doesn't step for the 5 round wall, but it wasn't the get of the notch. But it's gonna be probably just love the championship round if they get a lot of the heavyweight to test with. And don't be surprised to go for it. But I believe that Justin Gage will be at the knockout at the round number 4.
I love that prediction. You know, Holloway has been always been known for his durability. You guys don't have to know. Yeah, I don't have to tell you guys who I'm rooting for. Obviously, you guys can see the Hawaiian flag behind me. He's always been known for his durability. He's always been known for his striking ability. But one thing that scares me is if there's anybody that can do it, it is Justin Gaethje. It sucks because Justin Gaethje, I'm a huge fan of Justin Gaethje, but he's been fighting people that I'm a bigger fan of. You know, when he fought Dustin Poirier, had to go with Dustin Poirier, and boy was I wrong. Absolutely knocked Dustin Poirier into the shadow realms, and to do what he did against Dustin Poirier is absolutely, you know, why I'm kind of scared for Max Holloway. But if he says what he says, you know, he did stack the weight differently. He only had 6 weeks to prepare for his last time and out at light heavyweight. Speaking of which, that was against Dustin Poirier. but it's a different fight for Justin Gaethje because I think that Dustin Poirier is more of a power striker, or Max Holloway is more of a volume striker, like Rafael explained. I just don't want Max Holloway to be there when Justin Gaethje answers back. I think he is going to get hit. There's no way that you're not going to go into a Justin Gaethje fight and get hit, but if he's able to handle those hits, and I think hopefully his speed shows up. If his speed shows up and his fight IQ shows up, we're in for a long, aggressive, a long night. Max Holloway has never been known for that knockout power, and I definitely don't think that Justin Gaethje is on his way out. So, nothing against the Korean Zombie, and not to take anything away from Max Holloway, but the Korean Zombie was one foot halfway out the door already, whereas Justin Gaethje is kind of still in this prime of his career, and that's what makes this fight so fun because both of these competitors all in their prime, so they're gonna leave it all in the octagon. They're the ones that got to the campaign to make $300,000 bonuses, and both of them is gonna go into there and go have a fight of the night kind of award-winning kind of show. If there's any fight that does not go the distance that is going to get a bonus, it is going to be this fight. I have the main event ending early in a knockout. I will get to that in a moment. But when it comes to Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway, I think this is going to be a 5-round war. Am I going to be surprised if Justin Gaethje gets it done by TKO? No, not really, because he's known for that. But I know that Max Holloway's chin is gonna hold up. You know what I'm saying? He might get rocked, he might get dazed, but he's not gonna fold. He's not gonna fold. He might run around the ring, get adjusted, but he's gonna come back and full swing. I would love to see. Obviously it's not gonna happen because both of them guys are warriors, are gonna be demons. But who knows? Championship rounds, it's close. Who knows? Maybe we see which I know fans don't want to see, but I would love to see Max Holloway, try to go for a submission, something that has not been talked about. And last time he pulled that up was a really long time ago, but it's just something that get different because we know it's not going to go there. We know it's not going to go to the ground. We both know it's going to stay on the feet. But that's what I'm saying. When the world tells you it's going to be on the feet, man, you got to go out there. You got to take it. I'm not saying fight dirty, but I'm just saying take it because if Max Holloway, if you win this fight, well, you're the only person that can arguably say that you are number one in both the lightweight and the featherweight division. Like obviously the winner of Charles Oliveira and Armin is probably gonna get the winner of Khabib and Destin. But if Justin goes out there and takes rid of Max Holloway, and we all know Justin is next. But if Max Holloway wins, we all know he's going to go fight Ilya. I guarantee you if Max Holloway wins, he's fighting Ilya, and then we'll see what happens there. But going against China versus China, man, we have Ray Lee versus Yan. Like, damn, I'm totally pronouncing her name. Yeah. But that being said, though,
yes.
Yeah. China versus China, both champions in their own right. Obviously, you have the main champion that put China on the map, but Yan is coming up with an amazing win streak for that division. You know what I'm saying? She's on the rise, she's on the tear. She's basically ready to put her side of China on, you know what I'm saying, and put herself on the map as she already did. You know what I'm saying? Really, do you get this? Do you get extremely talented opponents in the same, coming out of the same country? You know what I'm saying? And they're both extremely talented. I obviously I don't know that much about Yan. I didn't really follow her career as much as I could have. You know what I'm saying? But all I know is she's not one to take lightly. And at the end of the day, this is another banger. And this is the next 3 fights, guys, are all 5-round fights, starting with the BMF championship fight. So I'm gonna let Rafael say a few things of this China versus China women's strawweight championship fight, and then we'll get into the main event.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, this is like a fascinating one. And what happened more deserved for the main event? If that had done for the country China to span it. I mean, Sean is one of the most dangerous fighters on that division at the moment. And wherever she had defeated for worlds twice, arguably only once, but that's not even a fight because she has bounced back immediately against Joanna, Esparza and Lemos recently. But all relative to tough competition with a little emphasis of Joanna says 2 fights were incredible. and Sean mostly like a Chinese kickboxing fighter, and she used like a weapon in return for the outrage. But often I'm used for the nature of all the break. She's a dangerous opponent of her natures. But also for Xion and Chan, ooh, this is gonna be like a tough one because I
Mhm.
kind of like it snuggled at that position, but it most likely be like the challenger do for the potential marketing, like doing something like that alliance. I mean, she's coming out for a strong knockout win against Andrade, and probably one of the most recent that she has fighting for a belt. I mean, she hasn't exactly done for the really remarkable that has been compared with what she has been achieved. I mean, she's powerful on the feet, her speed and power with the kickboxing wins as a fighter. I think it could have the shot for a fair bit of issue, but if it does remain to the inwards, I mean, they're showing off for the outside cuff, but very associated for the leg kicks. For striking, I mean, Sean has a bit more power than John, in my opinion. And whenever she strikes together with the combinations in a little bit more clean fashion, to the linear aggression that Russia the Jan typically utilize. Jan doesn't have the win enough for the Andrade. It doesn't very impressive. Clearly, the Andrade looks very ultimate sort of during the bout. Also, for wrestling and grappling, Sean has very advantage on that field. And that's where it comes to the see more comfortable for the grappling aspect for MMA. This man's the sparks on the ground. Sorry about that. But control over the half of the lead was linear like at a 6 or 7 takedowns for the 60 minutes total control time. That's very impressive. I love how wonder how Jen's takedown defense has been improved for the conservative time for a long time now. And for cardio, Shen has very cardio, but I don't think that we've been seeing like an ability for 5 rounds to give a ridiculous pace. We've been seeing like at the 5 rounds once, but she looks very durable. And I don't know, just getting close like being able to place with opposed to the wrestling capabilities that it goes to the gas tank it that way. So I will give it like a sham be a decision on that one. And for the main event, ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be like a freaking made event for Alice Pereira versus Shamal Hill. And there's no doubt that it's gonna be like one of the most scary fighters to ever grace the octagon for the wrestling years. I mean, highly technical and walking highly real. It's gonna be a very dominant for the lightweight and middleweight title. I don't think it's gonna be easy fight for Pereira, but Pereira has very sharp hands and very calculated for the range of the fights. His whole defensive skill set is based on learning his opponent for the hook range and then fire the way. I mean, this is the entire game plan that most of the time and most of the words are trying to achieve well. Also has a very good take on for someone that's coming off for MMA where they're a little bit in age, but they for the coming name, the successful kick Ron Rodson. But for Hill is coming up for the interest fight with a mean, angry about him. So he's fighting for the belt and he goes to the badly. He's very the best of the kid boxing can sell, but he's very aggressive from the style. I mean, he's supposed to what he know about. Massive power with a wide range of techniques. On the fight, I would say the striker is pretty, but he has only had to reach the power to make this fight very interesting. For striking, I'll give it like the colonies. It's very clear that Pereira will be more like well-rounded than a kid boxer, but he wants to slip at the heels with the kid that mix it up. But he has shown incredible ability to take it like a mid combination to get it like a from a different angle. For wrestling and grappling, I mean, Kyo has a very advantage to taking there. Even like a more experience in MMA overall, but I think there's never enough for the takedowns. But probably they're taking it down for Stargate is very broad on knockout power, but in cardio. I don't know if Hill has bad cardio, but his style is not very great energy conservation has been showing off with retired at the second he fought Pereira. But I'll give it like the fight against Blomlovich. Attitude shows that he came fairly well to the apartment. So I give it a slash edge to Pereira. So I will give like the Poitin Pereira be a knockout at the second round. And don't be surprised because for the main event between Alice Pereira versus Jamal Hill, this is gonna be like one of the most dominant and scarier fighters to ever grace the octagon in recent years. Because right now it is about damn time to see whether the answer goes right, if it goes that far, it's gonna be like so much different. Because it's gonna be like in between for the cardio, wrestling, grappling, and striking. I mean, it's gonna be like what a fantastic fight to fantastic even in a true great era of the mixed martial arts. Because I'm gonna be looking at this one because it's gonna be like a stand-up bout. He has the crispin boxing, but he has the dangerous leg kicks or the targets or the body here and snap at the cardio heel. The moment to shield can anything happen sooner than later. We're gonna see Pereira retain that belt.
Yeah, man, this is gonna be a banger. Absolutely love that prediction. But I will say this, you know what I'm saying? Although I do think Pereira can win this fight by knockout, I do love Hill's energy the entire week. You know what I'm saying? He's taking the whole Ilya approach. He already changed his bio on social media, to 13-1. You know what I'm saying? He's doing all that. He's doing all that things that Ilya did. That being said, though, his energy the whole week has been absolutely amazing to watch. He's fully confident. He knows that he is the main event of this big show. He knows that Alex Pereira talks, only in Portuguese, so he doesn't talk English. So that being said, that Hill is the one that is plugging away and trying to sell tickets, even though that this event doesn't need to sell tickets. The tickets are sold already with how stacked this court is, but I do love Hill's energy, and I do want to see him go out there, and I think he does have the tools in his bag. Outside of the stamina, being that this is a 5-round fight, and that's the only thing that is probably maybe can hold him back. But I think he does have the power to put Alex's lights out. Like I really does. I know everybody has this amazing because even me, thought of Alex being the boogeyman, the guy who can punch you and you go flying 7 feet across the octagon, because he did it to so much ex champions and so much great people in the sport for his short amount of time. But we all forget that Hill is coming from the Contender Series that basically rose and accomplished something, and because he believed in himself. And I know a lot of MMA fighters do that, but I love his story, and I want to back his story, because this is a guy that was playing in a celebrity all-star basketball game and got hurt and actually did the right thing and didn't hold the division at ransom, and basically relinkaged the titles for your Yuri Parkovich of the world could become champion, for your Alex Pereiras of the world could become champion. And we've seen the division get hostage so much. We've seen other divisions get hostage so much where the champions are not defending his belt. But this is a guy that put his belt on the line and let others take it, and then this is him coming back in and reclaiming his kingdom. And for the sake of what just happened in WWE, for Cody reclaiming his story and finishing that, I kind of want to see Hill, do the same thing. Yes, I'm a fan of Alex. If Alex is win, I'm not going to be mad. I'm going to be happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, make the best man wins here. But this is one of those fights where for the main events, I'm not really on one side. I want to see both people go out there and leave it all out on the line. But I do something is telling me that he might get it done here. He might be able to get it done and put Alex away. But like my man Rafael said, you can't overlook Alex, man. Alex is straight up a killer when it comes to the stand up game. And it's not someone that you want to stand up at for 5 rounds. Let me tell you that, because this guy was an ex kickboxing champion in multiple divisions as well. So you may have confidence in your striking, but you are gonna have to utilize all your tools in this match to get rid of Alex, because it ain't gonna be easy to go in there and stand with Alex for 5 rounds, for 5 minutes around. That's gonna be tough as hell, because Sean Strickland is a great boxer, and even he couldn't do it. So yeah, we see what happened in that one. That being said, man, I'm gonna pass the hosting duties back over to my man Rafael. As well as an amazing show we just had here, and thank you guys so much for joining us. But let's get it.
Yeah, that's exactly, because it's been like a great show to all of us, because we just reviewed for WrestleMania, and then we just gave like the preview of the UFC 300. And I'm gonna tell you, for this one, even though that I just broke my voice, I'm still recovering from my voice. I mean, there's so much great takes about for the WrestleMania number 40, and then for the UFC number 300. And I gotta tell you, for this one, that main card for preliminaries, I mean, there's gonna be like a hell of a fight right now. I mean, this should be like a really interesting, because the last weekend for WrestleMania, it became so much awesome. And for the UFC 300, it's gonna be like more amazing It's gonna be bigger, bolder, better, and of course, it's gonna be like so much important fights right now, including for Alice Pereira versus Jamal Hill, Holloway versus Gage. Also, there is Sean versus Shane. I mean, this could be like a once in a lifetime moment. I mean, you can never stick it above it. And I gotta tell you for this one, because this weekend I'm gonna provide the live stream between UFC 300 if I'm getting better right now. So I just wanted to provide a watch party and reactions for UFC 300. So it's gonna be on my channel YouTube as Rafael Chacín as no es el Capitán Rafucho. So I'm gonna put the live stream on Saturday night, which is completely amazing. So I'd like to invite you to see the watch party and reactions to UFC 300. It's gonna be on Saturday night if I'm getting better. So this is gonna be it. So I just wanted to tell you that thanks for joining us. And of course, this is being like a 90-minute show because review for WrestleMania, and they would just give like the greatest preview of the UFC 300. One of the best events on earth, ladies and gentlemen. And I would tell you for this one. Thank you very much for joining us for this episode number 8.
Yeah, thank you, chat. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, No Mess, No Jazz, Tommy, also Robert Pena. Also, I just wanted to make a salute to Reyes Boxing, Sylvia, also for Coach Chad, Johnny, Protect the Shield. I mean, that's been
Adrian's
like a great
in the house.
So
Absolutely.
not only I just
Appreciate
thought
you
about
guys
because
all.
also Adrian is in the building right now. So that being said, because this has been another episode of the Combat Club, a great podcast with all MMA fights, wrestling, and boxing. They're all being amazing. So that being said, my name is Rafael Chacín, as no es el Capitán Rafucho, along with my co-host, Science Zenith. And I will see you there at the next episode, at the next opportunity. So I would say, let's get it, and happy night. And of course, I can't wait to see the head of the banger, the UFC 300. So I will see you there, you guys. And of course, let's get it. Let's get it for a round, and then we're out of here.